Hey friends, Ari Koinuma here, and today I wanted to share with you. I've been meaning to start a series on impactful music recommendation, and of course, the first thing that I would love to tell the world about is my very favorite act, Toad the Wet Sprocket. And here I have one of their CDs. This is in Light Syrup. They're one of their actually. This is not a proper album. It's more of a B-side collection. But I still have the CDs from the 90s, and the files that I have on my computers are from those CDs, and I still listen to them like all the time, which is really amazing. But when I think about what makes Toad the Wet Sprocket so impactful, and people who are into them are just so loyal and so they're all really thoughtful. I think it's a good example of when an artist creates a certain identity and it really attracts like-minded people. There's a very strong sense of community among the fans, and what really distinguish Toad from the rest, and particularly Toad, because of when they had the hits on the radio in the 90s. They get lumped with the nostalgia crowd of all the 90s music. Well, I say that you can't really put Toad as a nostalgia act, because there is a difference with Toad from just about everybody else out there, and that is their, how do I describe this? It's like their outlook, or their poetry, or their lyrical maturity. I think Glenn Phillips' lyrics is probably one of the central distinguishing feature of Toad's music, and he writes from this everyman, reflecting kind of perspective, describing thoughts, feelings, and experiences that is ultimately just so relatable. It's just something that makes me go, oh yeah, that's how it feels. But yet he describes it using such poetic words and phrases that really puts a fresh spin on it, that it's it all of a sudden seems to really take on a new depths of meaning. And then when that is delivered with well-crafted arrangements of the band, Glenn is the central figure, but if you hear Glenn's solo material versus Toad, you can definitely hear that there's a band sound, with Randy's really drumming, which is really sort of on the beat in a way. He's just kind of like it's this guy who's kind of getting everybody going, and Dean's bass line and backing vocals are just very interesting, and adds such layers to the music. And then of course I'm partial to Todd's guitar parts. He writes such simple lyrical guitar lines that is very understated, but yet it just forms such a part of the song, and together they deliver this experience about what life is like. But it's familiar yet also unique and fresh, and it's a really special thing. Like Beatles might be the other act that really pulls that off in spots, although Beatles went off into weird directions, and it's not as sort of focused. They were more sprawling, and Toad is what's a lot more focused. But once you get that, it's like, man, I mean, nothing else will do. And I'm so glad they came back, and they put out a couple of releases in the resurgent Toad era in the last few years, and then now they're kind of going, I don't know about albums, but we might release singles, and I sure hope that they keep making music. and they don't do this just nostalgia act thing, because I think there's so much more and there's such a need for their music out there. So anyway, if you have not heard Toad the Wet Sprocket, I highly recommend that you do. The great album to get started is Fear. Fear has their biggest singles, and it's very accessible, and it's also the most sort of a produced record in that there's a lot more layers to it. Closely followed by Dulcinea, which also has some hits and then it has rocking moments. Although Coil, and then of course New Constellation, I mean, they're all really great, with really not any. None of the albums have like fillers in them. Even the B-sides ones, if you sit down and listen to them, it's like very interesting music. They have their songwriting quality is consistently high, so it's a very rewarding act to get into and just really listen and reflect on what the songs really mean to you. Anyway, so I hope you go check them out, and they're still touring, so go see them live. And that thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.